We see Jinho sitting in the office as he takes care of some business. He notes that the haters are sending complaints after getting sued and crying like kids. But that won't work. After some time, he finishes his work and thinks he has managed to single out all the groups slandering Jin-Woo. As he rests, he sees Jin-Woo standing behind him, who acknowledges that Jinho is working hard. Jinho thinks about how Jin-Woo comes and goes without making a sound. Jin-Woo asks if there was any trouble, and Jinho tells him everything is going smoothly before asking why Jin-Woo is dressed like that. Jin-Woo hands him a bag full of magical cores, explaining that Jinho mentioned they needed money for the guild. Looking at the bag, Jinho notes that they don't need to worry about salaries for the employees. Jin-Woo asks what he means, and Jinho reminds him that they need another member for the guild, and that hiring someone requires paying them salaries. Jin-Woo agrees, but says that even if they need a member to fill the empty space in the guild, they should find someone sincere who will stay and work with them. Jinho, with a serious look, tells Jin-Woo that there is something more urgent to take care of first. They need a name for their guild. Jin-Woo initially thinks it is something really serious, but Jinho insists that it is. He starts to suggest names, such as Sung-Yu Guild after their last names, even though Sung Guild sounds more natural, or Wooho Guild after the last characters in their names, or even Jin Guild using their middle characters. Hearing all the suggestions, Jin-Woo decides to name the guild Solo Play Guild, explaining that it is a solo player guild. Jinho questions whether that was supposed to be funny. As they talk, they hear a knock at the door, and Jinho goes to check who it is. The person asks if this is Hunter Jin-Woo's guild office, and Jinho confirms it. As he looks at the person, he is shocked to see it is Miss Cha. Jinho asks why she is there, and Miss Cha states that she wishes to join their guild. After they sit down, Jin-Woo asks her to clarify her reason for being there. Miss Cha reiterates that she wants to join the guild. Jin-Woo, confused, wonders what is going on, and asks if the chairman asked her to join, or if Hunter Choi kicked her out. She denies both reasons. Jin-Woo, now serious, asks why she would want to join his solo play guild. She is surprised to hear the name and asks if that is really what he named it. Jin-Woo confirms and asks what the problem is, adding that he and the vice master agreed on it. Jinho objects, saying he never agreed to anything and questions what happened to his suggested names. Jinwoo says Jinho didn't say anything, so he assumed he agreed. Jinho decides that they shouldn't decide on the name so suddenly, especially since his judgment is clouded by the confusion of the current situation. He observes Miss Cha, thinking about her pulse, breath, and expression, noting that she is pretending to be calm but can't fool him. He wonders why she is trying to join his guild. He mentions that it has been 2 years since she awakened and assumes she is still under contract with the Hunter Guild. She responds that she has enough money to pay the penalty. Jinwoo is surprised that she is willing to pay the penalty and tells her that their guild currently doesn't have enough resources to compensate a hunter like her. She replies that it is no problem and that she doesn't need a down payment either. He questions why she would still want to join when there is nothing for her to gain. She struggles with how to explain, knowing that whatever she says will sound crazy. At first, she was drawn by the fact that his mana didn't smell like the other hunters, but during the Jeju Island raid, she thought she was going to die. The story shifts to the past, where Miss Cha regains consciousness after the Jeju Island raid and asks the chairman where she is. The chairman explains that she is inside a helicopter and that they have just landed at the Hunter Association, where they will soon send her and the other hunters to the hospital. She asks about Jinwoo and if he was the one who saved them from the monster. The chairman confirms it. Miss Cha realizes it wasn't a dream and reflects on how she almost died. She considers that a similar situation might happen again where she cannot avoid death. Returning to the present, she struggles with how to explain it to Jinwoo. She starts to blush, thinking that she wishes to stand by his side until the very end. Jinwoo, noticing her expression, wonders what is up with her and if it is something she can't tell him. As she tries to calm down, Jinwoo questions why she isn't answering him. Observing her blushing face, he can tell she is hiding something and asks if she won't answer. Miss Cha responds that she wants to live comfortably and questions if there is something wrong with that. Jinwoo reflects that Miss Cha is only 22 or 23 years old, and that the burden of being an S-rank hunter must be hard for her. He acknowledges that the hunters suffered greatly during the Jeju Island raid, so he understands why she wants to join them. Jinwoo tells her that there is an entrance test for their guild. Miss Cha states that it wasn't in the recruiting notice. Jinwoo explains that maybe the guild vice master made a mistake since it is a new rule. He asks Jinho to fetch drinks and snacks. After Jinho leaves, Miss Cha asks what kind of test it is. Jinwoo tells her that she has to win against one of his summons. Miss Cha questions if he sees her as that much of a weakling and asks what kind of summon it is. Jinwoo tells her that for her, he will use his strongest summon. They start to get up, and Miss Cha asks when the test will take place. Jinwoo tells her they should do it now and suggests using the gymnasium gymnasium of the association. Just then, Jin-Woo recalls that the gym is pretty far from where they are currently. So, he thinks this is a good chance to test if he can use shadow exchange with two people. He tells her there is no need to leave, as they can use a shortcut. Getting close to her, he explains that they just have to stick together for a bit. When they are ready, Jin-Woo uses shadow exchange, and they both get covered by darkness. Meanwhile, Jin-Ho enters the room with something to eat, only to see a high orc standing in front of him instead of Jin-Woo and Miss Cha. They stare at each other awkwardly before the orc takes the food from Jin-Ho's hand and eats it in one bite, including the plate itself. The scene shifts to the gymnasium, where the two have teleported. Miss Cha, surprised, asks Jin-Woo how he did that. Meanwhile, Jin-Woo confirms to himself that shadow exchange works as a gateway, since he was able to move with a person in it. As for proof, Jin-Woo now knows that he can teleport to different areas, even if he is with someone. How it works is that his location becomes the entrance, and his target coordinates become the exit, and these targeted coordinates are actually the locations of Jin-Woo's shadow soldiers. Still impressed with his shadow exchange skill, Jin-Woo thinks about how he can go anywhere in the world if he wants to. He then tells Miss Cha they should get started. She mentions that she left her weapon behind, and Jin-Woo asks if she is talking about the pickaxe. Miss Cha tries to clarify that it is not her weapon, but Jin-Woo, smiling, tells her he was just kidding. She suggests that there might be a weapon worth borrowing in the storage. Opening the door, she finds a room filled with weapons, and thinks that while these weapons are only reserves and not that good, they are still suitable for practice. She comes out with a sword, and tells Jin-Woo she is ready. Jin-Woo asks if she will be alright since it is not the weapon she normally uses. Miss Cha replies that the weapon does not matter, as monsters never fight on their terms anyway. Jin-Woo agrees, acknowledging that she is right. He wonders who he should summon, knowing that an ordinary soldier would be shredded to pieces. He summons Igris, explaining that among his soldiers, Igris is the best swordsman. Miss Cha asks what the conditions for winning or losing are. Jin-Woo explains that she can win by destroying the summon, while she will lose if she decides to surrender. He considers that he said he would summon his strongest soldier to test her, but Baru would be too much for her. After they prepare, Jin-Woo gives the signal to start the test. He notices her gathering up her mana, and a thought hits him about what she said regarding weapons not mattering. He stops them and asks Miss Cha to turn back. As she does, he takes out a weapon from his inventory, the Demon King's longsword. He hands it to Igris, instructing him to use it, and then tells them to start. They both prepare to fight. Igris, using the sword's ability, launches a powerful wave of electricity toward Miss Cha, but before the attack lands, she manages to dodge it. Seeing this, Jin-Woo thinks that as expected, she is fast. If this were an average person, they would have died at the slightest scratch of that swing. As the fight continues, they start exchanging blows, creating a lot of noise that attracts the attention of Chairman Go Gun-hee, who is sitting in his office. He notes that there was not supposed to be anyone in the gym today. He calls someone and asks them to connect the CCTV footage inside the gym to his room. As he looks at the footage, he notices it is Jin-Woo and Miss Cha. He wonders when those two entered the building. Remembering Miss Cha's expression when he told her that Jin-Woo was the one who saved her, he smiles and realizes he had been blind. He instructs the person on the call to turn off all the CCTV cameras in the gym and write down that there was an inspection today. After that, the chairman sits calmly in his office when suddenly the ground starts to shake. Once everything quiets down, he comments that as expected, they are enjoying their youth. Meanwhile, Jin-Woo is surprised to see that Igris has been defeated by Miss Cha. She asks if the Black Knight was the strongest summon he had, reminding him that he said he would summon his strongest and asking him to do so now. Hearing that, Jin-Woo warns her that she might get hurt. However, she insists that it will be fine, as she would like to fight him once again. A dark aura emerges behind Jin-Woo as he summons Beru. Jin-Woo then turns to Miss Cha and asks her if she is sure she will be okay. Just to make sure, Jin-Woo asks Miss Cha again if she thinks she will be okay. In response, Miss Cha gives Jin-Woo a determined look. Jin-Woo thinks that shadow soldiers are weaker than their living counterparts, but even so, Beru was created for the sole purpose of killing hunters and was born as a weapon. If he goes all out against Miss Cha, her chances of winning will be slim. As Beru advances, he asks Jin-Woo what he should do about this person. Jin-Woo explains that he should defeat her, but make sure she does not get hurt. Hearing that, Beru lets out a powerful mana wave, shattering all the lights and windows in the building. Sensing his power, Miss Cha wonders how Jin-Woo even fought against such a formidable monster. Beru fully transforms and prepares to fight, but before they can start, Jin-Woo orders him to put his claws away, warning him that he will regret it for the rest of his if he injures her during the test. Beru, scared by those words, complies and retracts his claws. As he is distracted, Miss Cha sees an opportunity and decides to attack, but to her shock, Beru is already behind her. She recognizes this as the same move as last time when she encountered Beru in his Ant King form for the first time in Jeju Island. She then swings her sword toward him, believing she will not fall for the same same trick twice. However, before the sword reaches Baru, he stops it by grabbing it. He then lets go of the weapon, stating that his liege gave him one command: to defeat his foe without causing her any harm, and he will show her the difference between their strength, making her lose the will to fight. As Miss Cha starts to attack, he dodges all of them with ease. She refuses to give up and swings her sword again, but Baru dodges it effortlessly. Seeing this, Miss Cha realizes he is dodging all her attacks from this distance without even moving from his place. In her perspective, it feels like Baru is trying to downplay, not considering her as a tough opponent. Obviously, this makes her even angrier. While she is thinking, Baru gets in her face and screams, scaring her. The force of the scream is so strong that it throws her back a couple of feet. Watching this, Jin-Woo concludes that the winner of this match has been decided and asks her if she is satisfied now. But Miss Cha, not giving up, says she is not done yet and can still fight. Hearing that, Jin-Woo wonders what she is thinking. He does not believe she would be reckless enough to keep fighting after realizing the difference in strength. Baru is different from other shadow soldiers. Although he is intelligent, he is still a killing machine at heart. Even now, Jin-Woo can feel his overwhelming thirst to kill. If she is aiming for a weak spot, he just hopes she will not make a misstep. Meanwhile, Baru tells Miss Cha that at a single glance, a creature can recognize whether they are the predator or the prey. He charges toward her, stating that a prey standing up against their predator cannot be tolerated, and attacks her, but she dodges it just in time. He watches as she prepares to strike again, and notices that she is gathering mana around her for an attack. She launches the attack toward him, hitting his shoulder, but his exoskeleton is too hard, and the weapon shatters into pieces. However, that was her plan all along. She sees this as her chance, thinking that she does not have enough mana to use this skill more than once, but it should be enough. Using her skill, Blade of Light, she attacks Baru and manages to pierce through his hard exoskeleton. Jin-Woo, scared after seeing this, senses for a brief moment that a quick and simple command has resurfaced in Baru's mind. A command given to him by the queen upon his birth: annihilate all enemies. Baru identifies this woman as his enemy and prepares to attack with the intention of killing her. Seeing this, Jin-Woo orders him to stop, but Baru does not respond. Believing this to be the end, Miss Cha closes her eyes. An explosion occurs, and when she opens them, she sees that Jin-Woo has saved her once again. Baru, snapping back to his senses, jumps back as Jin-Woo helps Miss Cha to her feet. He falls to his knees, asking for Jin-Woo's forgiveness. Meanwhile, Jin-Woo is more concerned about Miss Cha and asks why she was trying so hard. He tells her there is no need for her to go to such lengths to join their guild, as this is just a test, an entrance test for a nameless guild. A hunter of her caliber should not risk her life over something like this. He asks her again why she was going to such lengths and wonders if she is perhaps interested in him. Hearing those words, Miss Cha is surprised, while Jin-Woo thinks that maybe that is not the reason either. He just cannot tell what she is up to. As he is thinking, he hears something. It is Miss Cha, who tells him that she thinks that might be the case. The story shifts to America, where Michael Connor and Miss Selner are present in front of the director of the Federal Bureau of Hunters, David Brennan. He asks them about their meeting with Jin-Woo and why they were unable to convince him to join the United States. Michael explains that, based on Miss Selner's observation, Hunter Jin-Woo is one of the kings. The director is surprised to hear that, and questions whether they are saying that Hunter Jin-Woo is as powerful as a national-level hunter. Miss Selner starts to explain what she saw when she was inside his head. All awakened hunters draw their power from a place called the other side, and the connection between the two parties is what she can sense. Sometimes, the force from the other side is so intense that some hunters appear as streaks of blinding light. She usually refers to them as kings, but in his case, she saw no such connection. The moment she looked into his eyes, the darkness inside him stared back at her. He was the darkness itself. After hearing that, the director asks if she is saying that Jin-Woo is an evil person. She clarifies that she is talking about his source of power. Hunter Jin-Woo does not borrow his strength from somewhere else. He does not use the connection to channel his power like the other awakened. He uses his own strength, so the limitations of the connection do not apply to him. Michael asks if she is saying that there is no limit to Jin-Woo's power, and that he can grow even stronger. Miss Selner nods, confirming that is exactly what she means. After hearing all that, David Brennan gets up and starts to leave, thanking Miss Selner for the information. He asks Michael to join him as he is going to basement level 24. While going down in the elevator, David Brennan tells Michael that if they cannot use Miss Selner's abilities to get Jin-Woo, then they must find another way. He asks if Michael remembers the first ever S-rank gate that opened. Michael replies that he does, and recalls it as the most catastrophic dungeon break to date, which destroyed the entire West Coast area. David Brennan explains that during that incident, America recruited the world's strongest hunters by offering them a huge reward. And out of those hunters, only 5 survived the raid. Each of them was given authority equal to that of a nation, which gave birth to the title of national-level hunters. The hunters wonder whether the figure is human, and the female hunter cautions them not to open fire. It does not appear to be a magic beast. Park Jong-soo warns trespassing in a restricted area and open fire if he does not leave. The man speaks legible language while staring, revealing his sharp teeth and yellow. Park Jong-soo, bewildered, wonders if the language the man spoke was. His face shows fear. Suddenly, a finger snaps, and all the hunters and soldiers inside the tunnel lose consciousness. The beast-like man looks at one of his companions, who had snapped his fingers, and questions his opinion. A man with white hair and blue skin responds that there is no commotion, as he merely to sleep for the time being. They engage in a conversation in which the white-haired figure asks if his companion's surroundings, which he confirms, stating that he is positive it was his power. The white-haired man finds it odd being these humans. The beast-like man shrugs and suggests curious, he should ask him himself. He then comments on the stench of rotting, that if a certain woman had witnessed, she had a fit. The white-haired figure then states continue as scheduled, and things will change. The other man agrees as the creates a blue gate, similar to a dun gate. The beast-like man calculates that one of them is haired figures whether it is in South Korea, to which the other replies with a suggestion to before leaving. However, the white-haired figure dismisses the idea, saying they should leave hands. Sensing hesitation, the beast-like man questions whether it is because he is involved. The white-haired figure's gate and responds that this is a way to interpret it, and that he can think whatever he wants. As the gate disappears, the beast-like figure says the word, coward. This beast man is now standing in front of Park Jong-soo, staring at him. He could reason to cause any more trouble. As he says, he stares angrily somewhere. In the blink of an eye, vanishes from the island. He steps to the gate and responds, disappear. Says the word, coward. Jong-soo, staring at him, any more trouble. He stares somewhere.